What's going on, guys? Chuck here. Today I got something really cool, really special um, for me as a fan of Friday the 13th, which I've talked about plenty of times, or maybe not plenty of times, but if you've watched any of my videos showcasing the basement, you know I have this Friday the 13th corner where I've got these posters up and everything. And my second video ever was talking about the Scream Factory collection. Actually, this is one of the reasons why I even started doing this in the first place was because I wanted to talk about it because I was so excited when this set came out. I love Friday the 13th. It's always been my favorite horror franchise for as long as I can remember. I've been a fan of it since I was real little, actually. The first, record or first, copies I ever had of Friday the 13th actually weren't even VHS part of that, but they were recorded off of USA Network. Like just the first three parts, anyways. So I had seen those for the longest time, of course, edited, chopped up, all the heck. It wasn't until much later when I got VHS copies that I had seen these movies, uncut, uh, and unedited. And that's how I remember Friday the 13th specifically in my mind as a collector. Early on was those VHS tapes. They were the first real Friday the 13th I ever had, or series I ever had on physical media. Since then I've gotten DVDs and obviously the Blu-ray set. There's so much out there, physical media wise, of Friday the 13th. And there's plenty of people we'll talk about here, but I never got all that. Pretty much, I had all the VHS tapes. I went through, buying them in flea markets, $3-4 here and there to get that collection, and I was very proud of that. Probably up to, I want to say. I don't remember if I had. I don't think I had the VHS or Jason Goes to Hell. I don't remember. I could have. It's been a while. I know the Paramount 8, the classic Paramount 8, I did have the VHS for because those always look so good on the shelf. I love those Paramount VHS covers. And I don't really think that all the artwork that's come after for a lot of races, I don't think they've really captured that. That I don't know what the actual term I'm looking for is, but the Paramount 8, those boxes look so good on the shelf. The way they were is pretty much uniform, with a few exceptions. The black VHS for Part 3, you had the kind of the blue one for Part 6, but the rest of them were all pretty much white across the board, and they just looked really cool looking at the shelf. And as cool as it was when Scream Factory put this set out, and for the most part they used the poster art for these sets, which up until this point was something that was kind of missing in the Paramount releases. They used their own custom art, which was lackluster. So Scream Factory did put the poster art back on here, but it was still kind of it's as cool as it is. It was still something was missing. Well, that has been rectified thanks to VHS Slipcovers, who I had to give a shout out. Besides VHS Slipcovers, which I will put a link to them. They're an Instagram, strictly Instagram only company. But so I'll put a link to them in the comments. But I also have to give a shout out to, of course, Christian Hannah Horror, because he's the first person I saw post these exact same sets. And I was like, well, that is so cool. I got to get that. So once again, Christian has influenced me to pick up something else, and I'm glad he did because these are awesome. So I got in touch with VHS Slipcovers. Like I said, you follow them on Instagram. That's where they're, you're going to do all your communication with them, direct messages to Instagram, and they're so great, so easy to talk to. And they, basically tell them what you're looking for. They'll give you the price, which are very, very affordable. Very affordable. Especially for, buying a big bundle like this. I bought these all in one big bundle, and I was blown away by actually how much it cost, because I was expecting to be something way high, especially for the quality that you're going to see. But yeah, so you get in touch with them, they'll work with you, and they what they do is they take pre-orders for for a few weeks, and then they kind of do like a mass order for their customers, because obviously they're custom making these things. They have to give themselves time to put in orders and put them out at a reasonable time. So that's what they do. And currently, as of this recording, which is August 31st, I think they have like another week left in this current pre-order cycle before they ship out. I think like September 8th or 9th, I think it is. And then they'll send orders out, and then they'll after a while they'll take another. I'm assuming they'll take another round. That's kind of how the cycle goes. And I just got these today, so let's take a look at them. First of all, let's dump out the box here, the Friday the 13th box, without making a mess. We're gonna try that. I'm not succeeding, but that's okay. So, there we go. Well, I still have the back card or slip from the back of the box. I keep it in here for posterity, or I'm a hoarder. I don't know which one, but so let's take a look at these. Start with Screen Factory. This is the first one. Again, poster art. It's really cool. You know, the image of the back. This is great. However, here is VHS slipcovers. This is very reminiscent of the original VHS cover for Friday the 13th. You've got the great spine, the Paramount logo, and the back. I mean, this has been duplicated perfectly. And I love this. And this nice glossy cover. I mean, this does not look like it was custom made. I mean, at least not the typical custom you would see on slipcovers, which I've, occasionally seen like from people at eBay selling them. Not really this great. This is very high quality. This looks very professional. That you would think that Paramount would have released this themselves. But get this in here. There you go. Slip. So now you have a VHS style slipcover for Friday the 13th. Slip that in here. Part 2, a very popular one for everyone. Here's your VHS artwork. Again, it does have that poster art, but this, it's got that the credits in the bottom, and just very reminiscent. Again, the Paramount Home Video logo, and then the exact same back cover of those VHS boxes. Such a cool touch. Slide that in here. My personal favorite, Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. Now, what's cool, this is Friday the 13th Part 3. This is, there's a 3D logo because the VHS was not 3D, so it doesn't tell you it's 3D. This is Friday the 13th Part 3. But I love the black box label. And there's back, again, the Paramount logo. All this detail is great. And the exact same images that were used in that VHS. Because I always remember, was it Tracy Savage? This image I always remember at the back of that VHS box because I'm a perv. But anyways, one of my favorite, probably considered one of the best Friday the 13th. And here's the final chapter. Same thing, but I really loved. I remember having this VHS cover, just really standing out when you saw it on video shelves. And it's one of my favorite of the posters. Here's your back. Alien Tommy Jarvis. So great. Got the rated R logo down here. I mean, this, again, I love the classic Paramount Home Video touch. And these slip in so good. They're very perfectly done. And I believe also that they do varying sizes, not just for standard Blu-ray cases. I think they can fit bigger Aero Blu-ray cases, steel books, whatever the case may be. You just gotta let them know what you're looking for. And here's the big one: Friday the 13th Part 5. Now, when this was put out, with Screen Factory's box set, people were kind of upset that they didn't have the, I guess the iconic hockey mask image. But people tend to forget that was not an original poster, and Screen Factory was going with original poster art. This is something I talked about in my video many years ago. Like I said, my second video ever. Like I said, they do have on the flip of this reverse image poster artwork. It was on the little hockey mask was on the spine, but both of the posters weren't very fantastic for Friday the 13th Part 5. But the VHS cover, there it is. A lot of people wanted this image, and because it wasn't a poster, it's strictly a VHS cover. This is the only way you get it now. If you get this from VHS slipcovers, you'll get to have your iconic, Mad Max hockey mask for Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. And here's the back. Again, very well done. Such great attention to detail. Up next, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. The very first Friday I ever saw. I saw it at a drive-in when it came out. But it's the first one I saw in the theater on big screen, if you will. Very fun Friday the 13th, kind of a turning point in the series. Here's the slip. Very reminiscent. I love that Paramount got that blue image that was very prominent. Because when you stuck this on the side of the shelf with the other Paramount videos, I said this in part 5, always, or excuse me, part 3 always stuck out because of the black and blue contrast with the traditional white. And then you've only got the one image, but very nicely done. I can't stress enough how beautiful and high quality these slipcovers are. These are amazing. I mean, they're just really a great way to spruce up your collection, if you will. And they do them for other series. Halloween is another big one they've done, which is one really thinking about picking up also. And then they cover, and the thing is, their slipcovers are made for different sizes, and they actually make them to cover the 4K slip boxes that Scream Factory put out. Because again, it was showcased on a Christian's video, and made me really want to pick those up. So keep that in mind. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Here's the slip. There's your back image. And again, I just love this nice nostalgic feel when looking back at the VHS. Jason Takes Manhattan from Scream, and here's your slip. And this is the end of the classic Paramount 8. You've got the nice singular image, Paramount logo, all that good stuff. Ultra stereo surround sound. Great. Now we get into the new line. Now this was the first Friday the 13th that I saw in a theater. Not 6 was the drive-in. This is the first one in the theater, and I saw it 9 times. I mean, this one gets a lot of hate, but I have a lot of fun with Jason Goes to Hell, as I've mentioned before. I won't go too much detail, but I really like this one a lot. I think it gets a bad reputation. I don't think it's warranted. I think, to quote was Adam Marcus, director, people complain about this being too different, and that's great, but if you don't like it, you've got eight other movies before that you really like. They were followed that same formula. So, but this was a lot of fun. I said, I don't remember if I had the official VHS, because I bought a bootleg with the director's cut, or actually bootleg with the extended scenes spliced together from like a comic convention. It wasn't until I got the DVD, I think they had the unrated cut, but here it is with the VHS. And I may have had the VHS, but I don't really remember, honestly. There's back. I think I do kind of remember this imagery. Then we get Jason X. Jason already went to hell, now he's going to space. Jason goes to space. Here's the slip artwork. Your back. And again, you see the New Line Cinema logos on the bottom. And then we have Freddy vs. Jason Blu-ray. And this was pretty simple. I think it's mentioned before, this is just, this wasn't anything special from Scream Factory. It was kind of they had a bunch of these discs. They had, and they already manufactured discs, put them in. So it's basically the same one you'd always get. But here's, and I don't remember, this making the VHS? Were you doing VHS still by 2002? I think so, but here's a nice style. I like that back. That's a really great image. This is much better cover art. I do like that. So, and then we even have the remake, which I really need to rewatch again. Actually, I did order the 4K release. Arrow did this to check it out. I've only seen it twice, honestly, and actually the theatrical cut that I saw the killer cut. So I really need to revisit it when I get the 4K of this. It's back. So that is it. Now, here they are, all in the box. Perfect. Now you have this little gap here. Now, what this had also included was the Friday 13th collection. This is an extra bonus disc, and of course, the booklet. Now, with the additional slipcovers, you cannot get both of those in the box proper. You can get the bonus discs in there. It makes it a little snug, not too bad. It's not a completely tough fit or a tight fit. It's a little snug, but I mean these things you just kind of probably have to turn them upside down to get them out, but it will fit. Now, the booklet, you can do whatever you want, but you can keep it out, put it somewhere else. If you want to keep with a set, it's kind of like I do because I will lose this stuff. What I have found out is that you can put this inside the box, and I believe you can actually, it will lay, I'm showing you here, like this in the bottom of the box, and you can put the disc on top of it. Now, well, that will this will cause maybe a little bump out, but it should, if you're really, adamant about keeping everything together, like I am, then that should not be a problem. So let me see if I can demonstrate that for you real quick. So here's the box or the book, and I just slide it upright in the back here. And then we'll just put these back in. And ta-da, everything is in there. The book is in here. It's just inside the back. All your movies are in here. And, not a problem. You got the movies, the bonus disc, the book. Everything is still intact, and it looks beautiful. Now it's very reminiscent of your old days on the VHS or the VHS copies on the shelf. So this is fantastic, and I am so excited, so stoked to have this. Like I said, I love Friday the 13th. I, have fond memories of the VHS days of having these on VHS and being the only way I would have them for the longest time. But I love this box set. And I'm, it's nice I can kind of get the best of both worlds in a lot of ways. You get the awesomeness of the Blu-ray collection, and then the nostalgia and the visual appeal of the VHS sets, which is so cool. Like I said, it's the best of both worlds. It's an awesome thing. And I just realized I had these set upside down in the box, but that's okay. So it still fits. So here's the box right side up. Everything's upside down, but you see my point. Everything still fits in here. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, that is it for this. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, check him out. VHS Slipcovers on Instagram. I will put the link in the comment section below. And I'll probably even tag it here at the end of this video. So check them out for sure. They are great and easy to work with. They do fantastic work. I highly recommend if you've, got certain movies, collections you want to, spice up a bit, if you will. Check them out. They've, like I said, they got the Friday 13th. They have Halloween's. They have the Superman ones, which I really would love to get. There's, I think there's really recently doing Basket Case trilogy. And not just, they have individual films, not just series, there's some individual films you can find, if you've got some Blu-rays or Steelbooks, or what have you, that you really want to, give them that nice VHS-looking treatment. Check them out. They got a long list. Just ask them about it. And, follow their Instagram page. You'll see, they're always posting stuff all the time. Like I said, you have these ordering cycles. You can go and pre-order, and you don't pay until they actually, place the orders. So when you pre-order, you just put it in there, and just make sure you have it, or they'll ask for payment, when they ship them out. So it gives you a nice time to kind of get that up, because that's something I needed to have that money, make sure I had the money to pay for them. But again, they're very reasonable prices. I'll let them go into that with you. But, like I said, I got these very, 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 very reasonable price for it. All these for like 12, all these covers, custom made, and they ship like in 5 days to me, which is really great. Now, I'm in Indiana. They were, this is from Canada. I will tell you that. But the shipping was excellent. It's a flat shipping fee, but it's excellent service. And I said I got it really, very quickly, packaged very nicely, came very pristine. So yeah, I can't stress enough. I highly recommend VHS Slipcovers. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. So If you enjoyed this video, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below, or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.